know that feeling, right? When life just feels like you're paddling, just trying to keep your head above water.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you feel a bit, I don't know, drained. And you wonder, is this it? Is it just about getting through the day?
That feeling is so common. It's almost like a signal.
A signal.
Yeah, like a healthy sign that you're looking for something, well, more control maybe.
Right.
More agency in your own life.
Right, exactly. Not just surviving, but actually, shaping things, taking the reins a bit.
That's a great way to put it. It's that natural drive to feel strong, capable, especially when things get tough.
Totally. And that's why we got really interested in this account. The story of Kai, the ordinary man who learned to think like a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
It's not some abstract theory. It's like following someone's actual journey, figuring out how to build that mental strength, how to bounce back.
Yeah, it's very grounded. And this warrior mindset idea, it's important to be clear, isn't it? We're not talking swords and shields here.
No, definitely not physical combat.
It's the internal stuff, developing that resilience inside, a different way to face life's bumps, taking charge of your inner world, really.
So what we want to do today is kind of unpack Kai's journey, pull out the practical bits, the things you can actually use.
Right, actionable insights.
Yeah, tools to build that mental toughness, but without it feeling like this massive, overwhelming task.
Makes sense. So where does Kai start?
Okay, so the story really kicks off with this core idea, the power of mindset. Lesson 1, basically.
The foundation. It always comes back to mindset, doesn't it?
It seems like it. Kai hits this point where he's just tired of just getting by. And he makes this conscious choice, the story says, to think like a warrior.
That decision point, that internal shift, that's where it all begins, really. It sets everything else in motion.
And it's so key to get that this isn't about becoming like aggressive or anything.
Yeah, wow.
It's about seeing that the biggest battles are often the ones inside your own head, or that little voice of doubt.
That's it. The source material calls it the small, scared voice in our own head. That's the real battlefield for most of us.
Wow. Yeah.
And, psychology backs this up. Our internal story, that narrative we tell ourselves, often shapes how we feel and act more than anything external.
Right.
So changing that voice, that's powerful.
So it's proactive. You're not just waiting for trouble and then reacting.
Exactly. You're preparing, building your defenses.
Yeah.
The story uses that great image of needing mental armor.
I like that, mental armor.
Yeah, like preparing for battle. But the battle is, life's challenges. It's about building up that inner strength so you feel ready, equipped.
Okay, so Kai decides to shift his mindset. And then the story talks about 5 core beliefs he started to actively work on.
The building blocks of that armor.
Let's get into those. First one, self-belief. Sounds simple, but man, it can be tough.
Oh, absolutely. It's the bedrock, though. Kai realized he couldn't keep waiting for other people to tell him he was good enough. That external validation trap.
Yeah, we all fall into that sometimes.
We do. So he started kind of talking to himself differently. Like, you've got this, one step at a time. Simple stuff, but powerful.
Like reprogramming your inner dialogue.
Exactly. Cognitive restructuring, they call it. Challenging those negative thoughts. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How often do you wait for someone else's approval instead of just trusting yourself?
Guilty as charged sometimes.
Right. It's not about being arrogant, just having that quiet confidence in your ability to figure things out, to learn. Self-efficacy.
Okay, belief number 2, purpose. This feels like the why, right? The fuel.
That's spot on. Warriors fight for something, not just against something. Purpose gives you direction, motivation, especially when it gets hard.
So Kai starts asking, what really matters to me? What lights me up?
Yeah, and it didn't have to be some huge save the world mission at first. It was things like, I want to help people, or I want to feel free, I want to get stronger. Things that resonated personally.
Finding your own enough reasons.
Precisely. What gives you that spark? That's what purpose is about. It acts like your compass, your North Star, when things get confusing or tough.
Makes sense. Okay, number 3, discipline. This is the one that can feel like work.
Huh. Yeah, it can, but the story frames it really well. Doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it.
Bridging the gap between knowing and doing.
Exactly. When motivation fades, discipline kicks in, and Kai started small, which is key. Waking up a bit earlier, a little exercise, some reading.
Small steps, big change.
That's the mantra. It's way less intimidating. You build habits, routines. It becomes more automatic, less about pure willpower, which, let's be honest, is finite.
Small steps, big change. I like that. Makes it feel possible.
Totally. Consistency over intensity often.
Yeah.
Those small actions pile up.
Okay, next belief. Resilience. Life knocks you down. We all know that.
Setbacks are guaranteed.
The story says he failed, he fell, but he got back up again and again.
That's resilience in action, bouncing back, like that metaphor of the tree bending in the wind but not snapping.
Right. And Kai's thought, pain isn't the enemy, quitting is. That reframes it, doesn't it?
Hugely. Setbacks aren't the end. They're just bumps, obstacles, things to learn from. It's about not letting failure define you. Have you ever had a setback feel like the end, but later you saw the lesson?
Oh, yeah. Hindsight is 20/20 on that stuff, but it's tough in the moment.
It really is. But that's where that growth mindset comes in, believing you can improve, that failure isn't permanent. It's data.
Okay, last one of the 5. Courage, defined as action despite fear.
Such a critical point. Courage isn't not feeling fear. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Like Kai forcing himself to speak up in meetings, even though it scared him.
Exactly. Or asking for help. Each time he did it, the fear got a little smaller. It's like exposure therapy almost. Facing the fear shrinks it.
Building the courage muscle.
Yeah. Think about a time you did something even though you were scared. How did you feel after?
Usually relieved and kind of proud, actually.
Right. Each act builds that belief. Okay, I can handle this.
Now, the story brings in this metaphor. I really liked the storm and the rock.
Ah, yes, that's a good one.
The idea is you're the rock, life is the stormy sea. And your beliefs, those things we just talked about, they're what keep you stable.
It's such a great visual for inner stability, isn't it? The outside world can be chaos, unpredictable.
Totally.
But if you've got that strong internal core, those beliefs, you're anchored. You don't get totally swept away.
It's about focus, staying centered, even when things are swirling. Not being fearless, but connected to your strength.
Exactly. Choosing to be stronger than the storm, in a way. Building that inner conviction.
Okay, so Kai is building this inner warrior. Then the story shifts perspective a bit for lesson 3. Challenges are not punishments, they're teachers.
This is a huge mental flip. Instead of seeing problems as, well, problems.
Or thinking, why me?
Right. You start seeing them as opportunities. Chances to learn, to grow, to get stronger. Like when Kai's big work project collapsed.
Yeah, instead of just losing it, he asked, what's the lesson here?
That's moving from victim mode to learner mode. Have you had challenges that, looking back, taught you something crucial?
Absolutely. Often the toughest times lead to the biggest growth spurts, even if it sucked at the time.
It's almost always true. Like learning to ride a bike, you stumble, you fall. That's part of learning. Setbacks are part of mastery.
And that little story about the farmer, the wise farmer and his horse.
Oh, I love that one. Maybe?
Right. His horse runs away. Everyone says bad luck. He says maybe. Horse comes back with wild horses. Good luck. Maybe. Son breaks his leg taming them. Bad luck. Maybe. Army comes, takes healthy sons, leaves his.
It's brilliant. It just shows you can't judge things immediately. What looks bad now might be good later, and vice versa.
Keeps you from getting too high or too low based on the immediate thing.
Exactly. Stay open, avoid those knee-jerk judgments. Today's setback might be tomorrow's unexpected advantage. Patience and perspective.
So good. Okay, lesson 4 moves into emotional intelligence. Understanding your feelings, not just trying to stuff them down.
Crucial. Again, often misunderstood. It's not about not feeling. It's about recognizing, understanding, and managing emotions effectively. Yours and others.
The story calls feelings messengers, or alarm bells.
Yeah, they're signals. Anger, fear, sadness. They're telling you something needs attention. So instead of just reacting,
Like lashing out when you're angry.
right, you pause, breathe,
Yeah.
ask, okay, what's really driving this feeling? What's it telling me? Have you found that useful? Tuning into the why behind an emotion?
Definitely. Sometimes that surface anger is really masking fear or frustration about something else.
Precisely. And Kai's process is so practical. Breathe to create space. Maybe write it down to get clear. Then ask those questions. Why this feeling? What can I learn? What's the best next step?
Like steering the ship in a storm.
Perfect analogy. The storm, the emotions might still be there, but you're at the helm choosing the direction. You're managing it, not being managed by it.
Keeping control of the rudder. Love that. Okay, lesson 5. Taking ownership. This felt really empowering.
Absolutely fundamental.
The story about Kai's friend Maya losing her job really highlighted it. Her blaming everything else.
Compared to Kai's point. Okay, that happened. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Your response, your actions, it's your power.
That's the shift. It's not about blaming yourself for bad things happening, is it?
Not at all. It's about recognizing you always have control over your response. Your choice is moving forward. It moves you from feeling like a victim to feeling like you have agency.
Victims wait, complain, blame. Warriors act, reflect, grow.
That's the contrast. And the garden metaphor works well here too.
Right. Complain about the weeds or grab a shovel and plant something better.
Exactly. Choose action. Kai started seeking feedback, working on a side project, cutting out negative influences. He took charge.
And that Denzel Washington quote, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship."
Wow. It flips the script, doesn't it? We crave ease, but hardship is often where the real growth happens. It pushes you.
Makes you stronger in ways comfort never could. Hardship as a door.
A door to new strengths, new possibilities you didn't know you had.
Okay, lesson 6 talks about your environment, your network, building that warrior circle.
So important. Who you surround yourself with matters a lot.
Kai realized some people were kind of dragging him down, maybe unintentionally.
Yeah, often out of their own fear or negativity. It's tough, but sometimes you have to create space. That toxic soil versus rich soil analogy is spot on.
You can't grow flowers in toxic soil.
Pretty much. You need nourishment, support. People who believe in you, encourage you. The climbing partner metaphor works too.
Yeah, you want someone helping you up, not pulling you down.
Exactly. So Kai got intentional, sought out mentors, read books by people like Brian Tracy, Joe Dispenza, joined groups, created a positive morning routine, built a supportive ecosystem.
It takes conscious effort.
It really does. You have to cultivate your environment.
Then, lesson 7, embracing failure. This is a big one for a lot of people.
Huge. Fear of failure stops so many people before they even start.
Kai's side project fails. But instead of giving up, he sees it differently. Failure is not the end. It's feedback.
That reframe is everything. It turns failure from a judgment into data, information you can use.
So he analyzed it, what worked, what didn't, what will I do differently?
Constructive, empowering. It extracts the lesson. The fire metaphor comes in here too. Failure can burn you, or it can forge you.
Make you stronger, like the broken sword being reforged.
Exactly. That image of taking something broken and making it even better through the process, that's growth through setbacks, learning from the cracks.
Okay, bringing it all together, lesson 8, committing to lifelong growth.
Right, because it's never really done, is it?
No finish line. Kai's life is better job, side business, relationships, peace. But he knows it's an ongoing process.
He keeps learning. Daily reading, weekly reflection, staying curious, staying humble, embracing being a work in progress.
So, thinking about you, listening right now, maybe looking in the mirror, feeling tired, maybe you've stumbled.
We all have.
The message from Kai's story is that potential, that inner warrior, it's already inside you.
Absolutely. It might be dormant, might be buried under challenges, but the strength is there.
And it's not about some huge overnight leap, it's those small steps, right? Consistently.
Day by day. Asking those questions. Who's in my circle? Are they lifting me up?
What did I learn from that last mistake?
How can I grow just a tiny bit today? Focus on progress, not perfection.
And that Brian Tracy quote, again, it just sums it up. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude toward what happens to you.
That is the core of it. Focus on what you can control. Your thoughts, your responses, your actions. That's where your power lies.
Mindset is shield, beliefs as armor, actions as sword. Keep sharpening all three.
Great summary. Your inner toolkit.
So please remember this. You are stronger than you think. Way stronger.
Definitely.
Those challenges you're facing, they're not just roadblocks. They're opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to grow.
Every single one you navigate makes you more resilient. It strengthens that inner warrior. It's about reframing them as stepping stones.
Okay, so here's a final thought, something to maybe act on today.
Uh-huh.
What's just one small warrior-like action you could take? Something maybe a little uncomfortable.
Could be anything, really.
Maybe reflecting on a setback for the lesson, reaching out to that supportive friend, committing to one tiny new habit that moves you forward.
Even just 5 minutes of something positive.
Exactly. Remember, this is just the start. Keep exploring, keep choosing growth, keep tapping into that amazing strength you already have.